I'm the warm-up, yeah. That's exactly. All right, great. So good week of preparation so far. Obviously, we have a tough opponent coming in on Saturday night, and excited about that opportunity to be at home and be in front of our crowd, which I am hopeful that it is a sold-out house. Looking forward to our Wildcat walk. First time we'll be doing that as our new as our team. I know that's been going on here for a while, and we're super excited to see if we can make that the best walk we can do. Most amount of people. Obviously, looking forward to great music. I understand that got a couple of live bands, Phil Vassar opening things up, so it should be an unbelievable experience Saturday, and we've got to make it that. We've got to make it the greatest atmosphere we can possibly find, and I'm looking forward to swinging by some fraternity houses tonight, seeing if I can drop off some its personal gear and get that group going too. So we're gonna do a little bit of interaction with the students, and then tomorrow night we're gonna go do the Bear Down Friday with the whole football team. So that should be fun as well.
Coach Jedd, could you talk about some of the new traditions that are going to be in the Bears Stadium?
Sure. Yeah. Well, hopefully the number one I'm looking for is winning. That's the tradition we're going to start going immediately, if at all possible. And the next one after that is the traditions of really from the Wildcat walk on. I think that our team, once we enter, really excited about the cage that we built for the holding area for our players prior to the start of kickoff. That's going to be an incredible area before they enter. We have a brand new intro video coming out that we've worked very, very hard on with our production company out of Los Angeles to make that really special, to honor the university, honor a lot of the alumni that had been here before, and also our program and our team. Really excited about DJ Scooter, who's coming in from California, who will be doing our home game DJ, who's really going to be located right in the middle of the student section, right at the Zona Zoo, and do everything he can to make it a full-on party atmosphere. We were able to get some amazing sound system. Derek's been able to take care of that for us, which we're very appreciative of, that we have an incredible new sound system that we've been working through. We're going to work on a red and blue chant. Our team did that for our so we have that. So we have our team did some chants that we'll have on the Jumbotron so the whole stadium can follow along. And then we had our music department and our theater department put together a great video. They took 18 of their musicians and actors and actresses, and they sung All Hail, which at the end of the third quarter, we'll ask everybody to stand up, have their arms around each other if that's COVID allowed, and if not, just stand up next to one another and sing All Hail. We'll have the words up there. I'll tell you, Hank Stratton did an amazing job getting that together. And then right after that, we'll break into Kenny Chesney's song of Happy Does, and then our DJ will be able to put some nice mixes together. So the biggest thing I would say is be there. Be there. Let's make it a sold-out tradition. And that will be the tradition that I'd be most excited about for this entire season. And I guess the deal would be we'd try to get over 300,000 people at the end of the 6 home games, and that would be pretty amazing.
You've been on this personal quest basically to ensure that this place is sold out. Why is it so important for you and for the program that happens?
Well, I've always referenced the fact that I've been at some of the greatest stadiums in the country. I was a student. I was a graduate assistant at University of Florida. I think Coach Spurrier's record was, I think it was like 61-4, 61-3 at home, something to that effect. They truly made the swamp, and it was because of an incredible game day atmosphere. From that time, I've always said the greatest thing about college football is the pageantry, the fan base, and the energy. When we went to Seattle, we had the 12th man. It was the greatest stadium you could play at in pro football, the loudest, causes home field advantage is a great thing, causes penalties for the defense. And even just the other day on Sunday night, I turned on the Florida State Notre Dame game, and it was 38-20 in the fourth quarter. And some people would say a lot of people would leave the game. Didn't look like many of them left the game, and next thing you know, it was an 18-point comeback. And the energy and craziness and enthusiasm of the fan base was awesome. And I just think back to some of those games, games at the Big House, the Horseshoe, and Virginia Tech, and like, why wouldn't you want it to be like that here? And we can make it that way. We only need 5% of our population to come, and we'll be sold out.
Do you still plan to play 2 quarterbacks this week?
Yeah, I think so. I think we'll probably have a spot for Will to play a little bit. I think there's some value to be able to sit a series and look to see what's going on defensively. I don't think we're not set in the same manner as we were going into the game, but there's certainly some value to be able to stand next to me, and kind of look at what's going on in the game and have a deep breath and say, okay, I see why that play was called.
Can we talk about the defense for San Diego State, what they might issues they might pose for you, going into some detail for a pregame show?
Yeah, well, the biggest thing about San Diego State is I think since 2013 they've been ranked in the top 20 in total defense. So that's 8 straight years of being a top 20 total defense. They're 9th last year in the nation in term blitz percentage. They're 2nd in stunt percentage. So you're going to get a ton of movement. You get a lot of activity. They're not afraid to play cover 0. They play a lot of cover 0 blitz. I certainly expect them to do that. They're aggressive, and they've got good players. They've got very good, good front 4. Their head coach is a defensive line coach by trade. So he's been coaching D-line forever. You could see it. You could see they're fundamentally sound. They play extremely hard. They're going to be very active up front defensively. And then on the back end, they've got a couple young corners, or I should say a couple young DBs, and then also some veteran guys that have made a lot of good plays. I mean, they got the ball thrown on them, I think it was close to 70 times or something like that last week, and they gave up 10 points. So they know how to play great defense. That's always been San Diego State's model since Rocky Long, and then Danny Gonzalez, and Brady is certainly an outstanding defensive coach. I could attest to that from we were at Michigan right after he was at Michigan, and that was a really, really, really good defense.
What are some of the ways that you can help the offensive line with formations or play calling or what have you?
Yeah, I think you can, we could get the ball out quicker. We could start there. We can find ways to protect, with different protection schemes that would enable us to have a little bit more time back there. We can use different tempos at different times. Kind of got caught a little bit on one snap count because it was, loud. It was really loud on defense. So we had to be in a silent count. Obviously, we're not going to have to be in a silent count this week at home. Hopefully, they will be from the start to finish. And I think we can also, use different ways to keep the tight ends involved in the pass protections as well.
Why do you think San Diego State started off so slow on offense last week?
I think offense is always a little bit behind defense when it comes down to early in the seasons. Clemson, Georgia was 10-3. I think Kansas State, Stanford was 24-7. Low-scoring games are kind of what Washington, Montana was 13-7. You start thinking through some of the games. There wasn't a lot of 30s and 40s and 50s, week 1. And I think that was just another indication of that. It's just challenging to score a lot of points that first week of the season. And, you've got to find a way to get some rhythm. But New Mexico State played really good defense against them, and they had to get in a rhythm themselves on offense, I would think.
Rich and Damian?
Steve Kerr is going to be the honorary captain on Saturday. How did that come about? And then do you have any plans for him to give a pregame speech or anything like that?
Yeah, I called up Steve about 2 weeks ago after he got back from the Olympics, gave him a couple of weeks, called him up, and asked him if he would be willing to come and be our honorary captain. And he said, as a matter of fact, I'll actually be there that weekend for the Lute Olson memorial that's taking place. So he said it would be my pleasure to do it. And it actually, so timing of it couldn't have been better. And we're able to, he's able to impact 2 programs and the entire university the same weekend. We spoke a few different times. His son recently got married, so I didn't talk to him last weekend, but talked to him yesterday. He's going to address our team when we're done with the Wildcat walk. So as soon as we get off the walk, we'll go upstairs and have a chance to listen to Coach Kerr talk to our team for a few minutes before we get dressed and ready to go. And then he'll be out there for the coin toss. So we're excited that he's a part of our program. And obviously, I know that Coach Lloyd is certainly excited that he'll be involved with watching them practice as well as the Lute Olson Memorial the next day.
Rich?
Again, for the pregame show, if you can give us some details on San Diego State's offense, the quarterback Brookshire in particular, and what you're expecting.
I haven't spent too much time watching too much of their offense. Coach Brown certainly has done the majority of that. I do know that they run the ball and have always run the ball extremely well. They ran the ball for 2.5 times what they threw it for last week. So they are a run-first operation, and they're very good at it. They've always been very good at it. Jeff Horton was there for years as the play caller, coached the running backs, did a great job. And then obviously they've now continued on that path and tradition, a little bit less under center. They used to be an under center pro style run game. This is more of a spread shotgun run game, but they do it very well. And as always, when you can run the ball well, quarterbacks have opportunity to take shots. And if you take shots, that's where you've got to deal with some vertical, you got to really defend the vertical passing game with good play action teams, and that's what we got to be alert for.
Amy and Justin?
Jedd, how do you coach a quarterback to have a quicker release on the ball?
Well, you really coach them on decision-making, timing, accuracy is all based on your feet. You have to be able to trust what you see. You have to be able to trust windows, and you have to be able to trust that you are where you're supposed to be at the receiver position. One of the main rules for our wide receivers is be where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. That allows quarterbacks to let the ball get out of their hands quicker because they trust that the receiver, tight end, or running back will be where they expect. And then it's up to the quarterback to not have to see him open, but anticipate him being open. And if you can count on those 2 things to happen, the release starts happening quicker.
How much has Jamari Joyner been a part of your game preparation? Do you expect him to be ready to go?
I expect him to have some role in the game, play some snaps. He's just working his way back. He was able to practice for parts of practice each day. We've just been doing some load management, keeping an eye on him, but he's doing fantastic. So I would expect him to have some plays in the game. He's another threat out there. So it'd be good to get another vertical threat on the field.
And then Saturday's going to be the 20-year anniversary of 9/11. Just wondering what that day was like for you, and do you remember what you were doing?
Sure. Well, it was a very scary day because so much of my family lives and works in New York City. My brother lives in New York City, works in New York City. At the time, my mom lives in New Jersey. My dad had worked in New York and New Jersey. So it was a very concerning time. A lot of my friends were there. I was in Houston. I was the defensive quality control coach of the Texans. I remember sitting at my desk and that happening. We were an hour behind, so I think it happened around whatever it was, 8:03 instead of 9:03 or something to that effect, somewhere close to that range. But it was scary. You wanted to make sure you could get a hold of everybody. It was hard to get a hold of my college roommate. He was in the towers, got out. But, that was a scary deal, and be able to talk to so many close friends of ours. We're going to show a little video to our team tomorrow. A lot of them weren't even alive, weren't very familiar with what actually happened on 9/11. So I think it's very important that they recognize what 9/11 is and how important and impactful it is to our country.
And who's your college roommate?
A guy named Greg Ferrari.
Last question, Michael?
Sure. Similar question about that Justin asked about Jamari regarding Jordan Morgan. How has he looked?
Jordan, I got back on the field yesterday, and we're hopeful that he'll be able to play on Saturday night.
One more real quick personnel thing. Do you think Stevie Rocker's going to get out there?
Yeah, I think last week we had 88 plays. We played two backs. One played 45 snaps, one played 43 snaps. I'd like to be able to see if we can get a third back out there at some point in time, especially if we're gonna have a significant amount of plays. I think it all depends on how many plays we have to be able to get that done.
Well, good to be with you. Thought I'd just drop in, say hi. Opening weekend. We're excited to be hosting football again here at Arizona Stadium and in Tucson. Chance to bring back all of our great fans and hear the roar inside the stadium again. It's just been far too long to hear the roar and to be together and really celebrate this university and this football program. So lots of enthusiasm, lots of excitement. As was mentioned, it certainly is a day of remembrance, being 9/11, 20th year anniversary of that tragic day. We'll do a number of things in the stadium to honor first responders and heroes and those that have gotten us to this point, that played a key role in 9/11, but also have worked through. Our first responders have done so much for all of us and for the opportunity for this football season, for our opportunities to be able to do things again this year. And so we'll celebrate that. We'll honor that appropriately during the game, pregame, and during timeouts at the game. So again, great opportunity to be together. Lots of new things. Lots of enthusiasm. Lots of people that will be around. We'll have a pregame concert on the mall down at the east end of near Campbell on the mall, and that should be a really new exciting part of our pregame activity for the opening game. So that'll start. I think the pregame act starts around 2:30, and the main act goes on at 4:30. So lots of opportunity for our fans who are in the tailgating area to really enjoy themselves. So we've got, again, a lot of other things happening. New concessions. We haven't been dormant here. We've been working aggressively to make the fan experience the best it can always be. You've heard me talk about that before, really important for us. But when you talk about new food service, new concessions, our new partnership with Club Corp that has really evolved and developed. We've renovated some other spaces, but really activating all of our premium spaces to support our premium ticket holders. So lots happening, and I'm happy to kind of, any questions or any thoughts or anything I can help you guys with? Yeah. I think we're just, where were we? We were just over 35,000, I think, this morning. So ticket sales continue to move right along at a steady pace. We renewed about 95% of our season tickets from last year. We had 3,200, a little over 3,200 new season tickets that we sold. Close to 5,000 student tickets, season tickets. So we're really happy with the response, and we anticipate a very robust walk-up crowd. So we look forward to a great day, great evening of college football back in Arizona Stadium.
Jedd come to you and say, hey, we want to start some new traditions, or did you guys talk about how did all these new traditions come about? The concert, and singing the Kenny Chesney song, and all the other things.
Well, I think, Jedd certainly had ideas of what he wanted to do, what he wanted to help create. Our staff, our marketing staff and external team had a number of ideas of what to do. And again, we come together and we meet as a group about what are the new things that we can do. How can we continue to invest in game day, into the overall fan experience? And I think sitting at the table and talking about those things came up with those items. So again, you can see Coach Fisch's enthusiasm about a lot more than just football. This is about a community. This is about the program. This is about really connecting with our fan base. And Jedd is engaged at all levels. I think that serves our program well. Our staff appreciates that, and we'll continue to work together and grow.
How much consideration was given, if any, to having a vaccination or mask mandate for attendance?
Well, again, we'll follow along with the university protocol and procedure. We encourage, and our expectation is that anyone who attends the game has received a vaccination or has had a negative test within the previous 72 hours. And that's our expectation. We know that our fan base will respect that and act accordingly. We require masks in indoor spaces, navigating the indoor spaces of our facility here. All who attend will need to present their mask as they come through the gates, along with their ticket. Again, if you're inside restrooms or you're navigating some of our indoor spaces, you have to have that mask. That is required to go into and to be in those indoor spaces. So, again, we've been very consistent with the university protocols and policies. Thought it was important to make sure that our expectation is people will help us provide an incredibly safe and comfortable atmosphere for everyone to attend. And if they're not vaccinated and they have not had that negative test, we recommend and we know that they won't attend.
Have you encountered any pushback over any of those policies either way? Like that they're too stringent or not stringent enough?
Personally, no, I haven't. We've again, we've done everything that we believe we can do to provide the best and safest and atmosphere and event for our fans.
To be clear, then, Dave, the university will not be requiring proof of a negative COVID test or vaccination to enter the stadium.
You do not have to present a card or a negative test. Again, it's on the honor system. I fully expect all of our fans to abide by that honor system and not come if they have not had a vaccination or if they have not tested negative in the previous 72 hours.
Is the honor system also applicable for the areas where masks are required? Will you have people stationed to remind people?
We will be reminding people of wearing masks. It'll be the full expectation that they'll be wearing masks in any indoor spaces.
In that you have like a brushback where someone's like, I'm not going to, is there like possibility of removal if somebody doesn't want to comply?
I think we'll have compliance of it, and again, I think we can address those situations as they come along. I don't think, again, I've heard nothing unreasonable from anyone that has been opposed to the indoor masking at all.
You mentioned that Steve Kerr's going to be there on Sunday. Do you know if anyone else is going to be there? I'm sure there's going to be a lot.
Boy, off the top of my head, I can't. I know that we'll have several, I don't know which, but several of our, our outstanding former basketball players that played for Coach Olson, who are coming back and going to be around for the weekend because of the event. In Vegas last week, we had, I want to say 40 or so alums, football alums that have come back and wanted to see that opening game. I know many are coming back here for the opener at home. So I would expect a lot of people there, that will be in the stadium. But Jason, I don't know right off. I don't have my list right in front of me of every person. Sundays? Unfortunately, I didn't bring the list. We've had nearly 100 RSVPs of former players. Many of the great names that you can imagine. I think anyone who can be here that does not have another obligation was coming, and we'll have a series of speakers that again the family has worked together to put together with us. We'll have some people who are close to Coach through the years also be speaking at the event. Again, a great tribute for an unbelievable career.
Dave, can you talk about the historical significance of the next 3 days? Tomorrow, Hall of Fame. A lot of folks that have been worthy of being in the Hall of Fame finally getting their opportunity. Saturday, the first home game, and I think we said over 500 days. And then Sunday, Coach Olson.
Yeah, it's a big weekend. It's an incredible weekend when we celebrate, one of the highest honors and achievements that someone can have is to be inducted into the Hall of Fame here with the incredible level of talent that has come through of our student athletes through the years to be enshrined in the Hall of Fame. We'll do that Friday night. Then a huge opening football game with a completely new energy level, an excitement to come back together. But also, you know what, doggone it, we want this football program to head in the right direction. We know that's going in that direction. A commitment to our fans. It does feel somewhat like a landmark weekend. And then, quite frankly, probably one of the most significant and biggest moments of the weekend is to pay tribute to Coach Olson and his contribution to this program overall. Not just a basketball program, but to a university, to an athletic program, to a town. All of those things, what he did for the university and for Tucson and for basketball to put it on the map is remarkable. It's incredible, and we're ready for it. To have waited a year plus to do this because of COVID, has been difficult. And I think everyone's looking forward to the opportunity to be together, pay tribute to him. So it's a big weekend, Rich, really big weekend. We're looking forward to it. It's going to be fun.
When you interviewed and then hired Jedd Fisch, did you make it a requirement that he would promote the program in the way that he has, or try to sell tickets, or has he done a lot of this on his own?
Well, I think in the exchange process, when you're talking to people, clearly we want people who are motivated, energetic, that want to invest in the program, that want to connect with fans. That's all part of the process of evaluating, the candidates. My conversations with Jedd, it was very clear he was all in all the time in everything, and that he believes that college football, a big part of the success is a head coach's commitment and ability to connect with students, with the community, with his players, with the alumni, our former players. I think it's been very evident, the outreach and the connectivity to our former players. They've never felt that way before, and this has been, that's been positive on all fronts. Jedd can connect all of those dots, and still understands the importance of the X's and O's and winning on the football field and building a football program. But all of those are important in college football. And he's seen that through his years, the different places he's been with. I think he goes back to Coach Spurrier, and that engagement that Coach Spurrier had. He saw that firsthand of how he did that and his ability to connect with people. And Jedd carries a lot of that going forward.
Obviously, your career didn't overlap with Coach Olson, but when you got here to the University of Arizona, was there a moment where someone kind of let you know exactly how big and how important he was? Was there somebody that shared something with you that really made you understand what he meant to the community?
Well, let's not forget, I was in the league for almost 19 years at the University of Oregon. So I watched Coach, from the other sideline. Watched him come into Mac Court and dismantle our teams. Traveled down here and watched the electricity and the excitement of a game day in McHale, where you walked in as the visitor, and you walked in and go, boy, I don't know if we have a chance today. I mean, you felt that, and obviously being in the league and our brand of basketball overall as a conference was really driven by Arizona, and at the same time, I was around it enough when Coach came to, when he was on the road, what a first-class individual, what a person who was just always went out of his way to say hello, to treat people the right way. So it wasn't hard to know that he was a pretty iconic and big figure. To come here then, to work here. I mean, again, I know many staff members have lots of engagement with the staff here, so knew the importance and the historical significance of Coach. But then to meet him, be with him on a daily basis, to sit at football games and watch the games with him, was really rewarding. And then you start to really learn about the guy. And boy, he likes football too, I tell you that. He really likes football. So I know he'll be watching the game closely this week. He wants this football program to be successful as well. So, I don't think it takes a lot, Rich, to know that this is one of the all-time great figures in college basketball. Not just Tucson, not just at Arizona, but you put him up with the finest figures in the game of college basketball in the history of the game.
The Pac-12, Big Ten, and ACC announced that alliance a couple weeks ago. First of all, what did you make of that? And second, how might that potentially benefit Arizona athletics down the road?
Yeah, I'm a strong proponent of the alliance. I think it's an outstanding direction for the conferences. Remember, the Big Ten and the Pac-12, the Pac-8, Pac-10, now Pac-12, have had strong ties, and through that tri-party agreement with the Rose Bowl, the greatest college bowl relationship that exists, and long history there between the three parties. And so there's always been that connectivity to the Big Ten. And then to pull in with the ACC, another conference of like institutions, highly successful on the athletic, in athletic endeavors, but also very driven from an academic standpoint, power institutions, power universities across the country. I think it's very, from that standpoint, like-minded institutions coming together. I think it offers a lot of opportunities from scheduling, not only in football, but we can extend that to men's and women's basketball. We can extend that to other sports, opportunities for our universities to compete with each other. And, you know, this is a evolving and changing time in college athletics. And we thought it was important that the athletic directors and the presidents from those institutions can come together and really deliberate where we want this to go, where we want college athletics to go. How can we be influential? How can we maintain some of the great pillars of the college model? But how can we impact some of the future nuances, the future pieces that can help contribute? And so that's important as well when we sit down and we start to look to the future of how it can work. Whether that's college football playoff, whether that's basketball, whether that's conference realignments, what it is to be a student athlete, all of those pieces are important. And you know, having the ability to sit down and talk about that and then help that evolution, help the navigation going forward with the NCAA.